Okay, here is some sample code to build a basic graphical user interface, or GUI. And this is my test class, which actually runs it. Okay, so sample GUI, so that I've done it all in the actual constructor here. So simply put, let's run it and see what happens. So if I type, Michael there, and I print name, the code comes and takes the text out of the text field and prints the name is Michael. All right, so we'll just move this out of the way for the moment. Right, so basically how it's built is, this is the frame. Okay, so this is this bit here. You can see here that the title I've set to sample GUI, which is up here. Okay, then I have a label, I have a text field, and I have a button. I have a label, I have a text field, and I have a button. Now, just let you know that there's also other things going on here. So up here, globally, I've declared a text field called name text, and globally up here, I've declared a button called BTU print. Right? Locally, I've created a label called name. Right? So I have three things, as you can see, 1, 2, 3. So once I create them, I'll get back to this in a moment. Once I create them, then I add them to the frame. Now just remember this frame.set layout, new flow layout. That means that whatever I add to it, they're added like you would add to a train or something, like one after the other. So this looks kind of normal, but actually, if you see what I'm talking about here, they're actually underneath each other. So it's only when I stretch it out that it looks better. So flow layout places one after the other, after the other, after the other. Now there's different versions of flow layout, but we're just going to very simple graphical user interface, and we're only using that to test our programming skills. You'll rarely be asked to design a graphical user interface in Java anymore, but it's a good learning source. Right, so next thing you do then is add them. So if I'm adding the label here, then right after the label I'm adding the text field, and right after the text field I'm adding the print button. Then I'm setting the size to 500 by 300. So if you're ever confused, you can just kind of click in there and you can see first is the width and the second is the height. 500 is the width, 100 is the height. This all that does is it actually when you launch it, it appears in the middle of your screen as opposed to sometimes over to the top left. And then set visit. Oh yeah, this line here means that if I hit the X button, it actually will close the frame. And finally, make sure it's visible. So when you run it, it's actually visible. Okay, so that's the kind of layout, and we'll just do a change in a second. One more thing I want to show you is my class here implements the action listener. So we've done this already. So this is an interface. Now it's a bit more complicated interface than we've done up to now, but you'll get the idea. Right, so when I implement action listener, I have to use this method because this is the method that's listed in the interface action listener. Okay, now I wrote this bit of code here. So all this bit of code does says if the button is BTU print, which is the button that we made, this button. So if I press that button, that's what that means. It'll print whatever's in the text field. Okay, so if I had a second button, I could do return here and do another if statement and do if button 2 or whatever, system or print line, and do something else. And just hit how I'm getting the text is named, has to name the text field dot get text. Okay. Now, just as an example here, if I wanted to add another, that's annoying me there. If I wanted to add, say, a second text field, well, then I could, let's copy this for a second. And we'll go down here. We call this text field 2. So basically I've declared it up here, I've initialized it out here, And then let's say I want to add an after button for some mad reason. Copy, paste, and call that name text 2. So now when I run the program for a second time, so I'm just going to kill everything first of all. And if I run the program again, see, and now I've added a second text field. So you can add different buttons, different text fields, different labels, etc., and you can add functionality. When you press the buttons, it does something, okay? So that should get you the basics of a GUI in order to do the exercises this week. And if you just play with the code, you'll probably get more familiar with it. So it's very basic stuff, just a matter of getting familiar with it.